that intro is intense.
It sounds like a wrestling theme song.
I love it. Big up to everyone. Thank you very much for joining me again today, guys. And today is the big one. It's the dream team. Everyone's been asking for it. It's me and Cal. Cal, how are you doing, my man? Thank you for coming onto the show.
No, I'm good, bro. Thank you for having me, and thanks for making the time for me. Thanks for being patient with me, because we've been trying to. I say you've been trying to organize this for a while, and I kept on being like, "Oh, Jamie, I can't do this date or this time." So thank you for accommodating me, and yeah, man, you know I'm a fan of yours anyway, so it's a pleasure for me to be here, bro.
I appreciate it.
Now, look, Asian Reds TV. Big up to everyone in chat, guys. Smash the like button for Jamie. Hit the subscribe button as well if you haven't.
All that good stuff, guys. All that good stuff. So, guys, this is going to be a good show because we're going to go a quick hour and we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about Jurgen Klopp and his system. Now, me and Cal coming for a bit of grief because we have the balls to actually say that Klopp's not a miracle worker or he's not he's not an alien. He's human. He makes mistakes. We get in the neck sometimes. None of us want him to go, by the way, but you're allowed to criticise the man. Exactly. But we're going to talk about his system going into next year. We're going to talk about, I think some of the Liverpool fan base underrate players that we have in this football team and don't give them enough of enough praise where I think it's deserved. And we look at players that are praised too much where I think it's unjusted sometimes. And then we're going to talk about players that will probably come in the summer, how doom and gloom are people going to be about it, but how they might actually work out to be actually great signings. So we will be doing that, and straight away, big up Casey with the Sean Casey with the super chat. Appreciate it. The dream team, Jamie and Cal. There you go. There you go. New YouTube name. There you go. Big up to everyone in the building. So let's just rip that band-aid off for the American audience. Jurgen Klopp, Cal. Jurgen Klopp. Now this season, look. I think you and me and a lot of others, big up Jerry James as well. Not that freakish Jerry James that's after for some reason, but the real Jerry James, big up to him. There's a few of us that have had the guts to go against Klopp a little bit this season, but not in a way that we want him out of our team, just in a way that he needs to be accountable for as much as the owners this year, in my opinion. The owners are what they are. There's no point talking about them no more because they're here. They're not going anywhere. It is what it is. Where everyone knows that everyone's got their opinion on the owners, and we all know it right now. Even me, I used to be the biggest in guy. Now I've changed. I can see the light. I took the Kool-Aid. And then, but Jurgen Klopp this season has, for me, got a lot of things wrong. He has got a lot of things wrong this season. Starting off all the way back in the summer with the transfer window. And where we are now, right now, I think he knows he got things wrong. And he's trying to correct them wrongs right now. But what I want to know is going into next season, does Jurgen Klopp need to change his system, or players coming in the summer, will Liverpool go back to the way they used to be with the old system?
Jamie, that's a tough one. My heart says that he'll change the system because we're starting to see him do that now. The problem we have though is we've seen Klopp do this prior. So before, we went on the World Cup break, he changed the system. We went 4-2-4. But I kept on telling everyone, I was like, we've only gone 4-2-4 because he's only got 3 available midfielders at the moment. So if he can't play all 3 for every single game up until the World Cup. So that's why we changed formation and went with an extra attack with Elliott usually. So Salah was playing in a 2 with Darwin, and then whoever played on the left played on the left. But I did say, when the midfielders are back, he's going to revert to type, and lo and behold, he did. Now, here's the thing, and this is what I pray and hope. And you got to put Linders in here as well, because, again, I called myself out. I called a lot of fans out the other day. I said, when things are going bad, we're quick to jump on and say, Pep Linders is this, Pep Linders is that. But when we change the system and things go well, no one says anything about Pep. And I'm not Pep Linders. I'm not a Pep Linders fan, but I do believe in trying to be fair in it. So when things are going bad, criticize him, criticize Klopp, criticize the owners. But when things go good, have the same energy. So right now, shout out to Klopp and shout out to Linders for changing the tactics. They haven't changed formation, but shout out to changing the tactics. Now, back onto your question, Jay. I genuinely don't know what Klopp's going to do in the summer, which is both a good thing and a bad thing, because it's hard for us as content creators to predict some of this stuff, but at the same time, it's exciting potentially because you may be thinking, oh, he could go in a different direction. For me, though, I want Klopp to move away from having one set system and one top fits or one hat fits everything. For me, the best teams are able to switch up. And look, we see Man City do it. When we played them at the Etihad, they went, what was it, 3-2-2-3. We could have never planned for that, and they destroyed us on the day because of it. I want us to sign players that will allow us to play a 3-5-2, a 3-4-3, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2, 4-4-2 diamond. If we're able to have players that do that, one, it makes Klopp's job easier, in my opinion, because you're able to do more fluid with your formations. But what it really does is make it almost impossible to plan for when the other teams play us, because they genuinely aren't going to know what to do and how to cope with us. So long answer in a short version. Heart says yes, head says no, though. I do think Klopp will try and find players for this 4-3-3 that he's in love with.
Yeah, and the reason I say that because of the players we're interested in. Obviously, Mason Mount is highly interested in. We don't know what's going on there now. If Pochettino goes to Chelsea, there might be a big, Mason Mount might stay because of Pochettino. I think Pochettino would like a player like Mason Mount, to be fair.
Yeah.
When I watch Jordan Henderson in recent weeks, I feel like I can see why he wants Mason Mount in a way, the way we're playing right now. Because Mason Mount can go into that wide right area where Henderson is at the moment and probably have a little bit more quality on the ball than Hendo does right now. So I can understand it. The Ryan Gravenberch one, I totally understand. For me, that's a superb signing. I personally think he could be as good as Jude Bellingham. That people were talking about him at Ajax the same way they were talking about Bellingham at the time. It's just that he went to Bayern Munich and he hasn't played. Bellingham's playing every week and went to World Cups and stuff, and that's why there's no talk on him. So Liverpool get someone like Ryan Gravenberch. It's still the same system we're going to play. I don't think it make them players change our system too much. Alexis McAllister, he's a hard-working midfielder, but he also has quality on the ball at the same time. So again, I don't think that sort of player even changes our system. So the players we're looking at, and then you heard today that we're apparently looking at Sengara from PSV.
Have you heard the other one?
And obviously Calvin Phillips. I mean, Calvin Phillips, for starters, I don't believe Pep Guardiola would ever sell us a player.
No, of course not.
Right? I think Pep realised he might have made a mistake with Arsenal, selling him Gabriel Jesus. Yeah. But I honestly think he has too much respect for Jurgen Klopp. And he will look at it and go, if I give him a player, there's no way I'm going, I think at the beginning of this season, Pep Guardiola thought Liverpool was still going to be his number one challengers. That's why he went to that's why he let players go to Chelsea and Arsenal.
Yeah.
But it hasn't panned out. But I think he has too much. That's never going to happen. Also, why are we after players that are always injured? I mean, it's just, he's got a weight issue apparently as well, which, look, if he has, that's on the player. That ain't on anyone else but himself. He's got to look after himself. I've said it already. If Liverpool were to go get him, go and buy him, take him to a park, leave him there and never pick him up. That'd be what, that he's not, I don't even know if he's, I don't even think Pep wants to sell him. I think Pep might want to give him another go.
Yeah, I reckon so. I think he'll be fine next season. If we're going to get an midfielder, that's not Jude Bellingham. It's got to be Declan Rice.
Yeah, Declan Rice is the best English DM in the Premier League. I don't even know if he's a DM, really. He's box to box, really. Yeah. He's an all-action midfielder who's not... I don't think he gets the flowers he deserves because his name's Declan Rice. It's as simple as that.
I'm his biggest fan.
I love the guy, but I just he's got Man United written all over me me. And
I think it's Arsenal.
Or Arsenal, could be Arsenal, but he's going to cost 100 bags, and it all depends. I think Xhaka has to leave Arsenal if they get Declan Rice personally, because. Declan Rice plays in front of Xhaka in it. with Partey as a base.
Yeah.
There's no, and then there's Xhaka. You know, we've seen him. He's got that switch in him that can go any minute. Is he going to be all right having around the club if he's not regular playing? I don't know. So that might be something Arsenal will be looking at. But yeah, Rice is a quality footballer. But yeah, Liverpool not really been, apart from today, Liverpool not really been targeted with sixes. It's all these box to box, hard working, high energy level number 8s that Klopp seems to love, and that's why I'm talking about the system. Is it really going to change? Because he said it himself in the press conference the other day before the game, and he said Liverpool's best way of winning is counter pressing, and it always has been. And before that, he made a mention about it's not the midfield that's the serious issue; it's the forward line. And I sort of understand what he meant by it. That the forward line.
Sorry, Jamie, can you hear me? Am I freezing?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're perfect. Your video's good.
You're freezing on my end.
Your video.
Oh, now
good.
I see. Yeah, cool.
You all right?
Sorry, can you repeat that question for me?
I was just saying about what Klopp was saying about the pressing in our team. The best way Liverpool winning is counter pressing. That's the way he looks at it. And
so
he doesn't think the midfield's a problem. He thinks it's the forward line because there's no Mane no more, no Bobby. And if you look at the way we're playing all of a sudden, Gakpo's been false 9 since we signed him, right? And Jota, who's been out for months of injury, comes straight back in the team and has taken Darwin's left wing position. And to be fair to Klopp, I've always said this, if you've got a system that works, put the players in that know that system and you'll win games of football, right?
Yeah.
And now the Darwin situation going into next season, I'm confused with. Because now it looks like Gakpo's his first choice number 9. Darwin came in and Darwin went left wing. And now Jota's back. Darwin's sitting bench. So where does Darwin fit in next season? Is he thinking Gakpo's now his false 9? He likes that false 9 role. He likes the quick wingers.
See, all right. So when we signed Darwin, I was quite vocal in saying that I think the player could come good, but I think as a fan base, we're expecting him to do what Haaland has done. And I said to people, I was like, this is a project player. He's not refined at all. He's very raw still, and got slated for it. Absolutely slated for it.
Of course,
Klopp came out and said the same thing a couple of weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, or last week. I'm now saying it's the same thing about Gakpo. I'm sitting there and I'm saying, look, Gakpo does some really nice flicks and tricks, and he's decent when he's on the ball sometimes. The problem I've got with Gakpo, he has not got that aggression right now. And there are no signs of it. I'm seeing him getting pushed off the ball and bullied to an extent. I'm like, you can't be a false number 9 if that's going to happen. Not in this team, not in this league. But at the same time, it confuses me with Klopp because you've got 2 strikers in Darwin Nunez and Diogo Jota. We needed a midfielder in January. And if you weren't going to get a midfielder and you wanted to get an attacker, go and get an out-and-out winger. Because that's what we were screaming out for. But then we didn't. We went and got someone who can play false 9. So we've now got 3 players who can play as a striker, 4 players who can play as a left wing, but we've only got 1 who can play as a right winger. And the Gakpo thing, I don't understand why we can't, or why Klopp's so insistent to not move away from the false 9, but I think it's going to become our undoing. Like, even for the game tomorrow, for me, Gakpo shouldn't start that game. That's got to be Nunez through the middle tomorrow, because those West Ham defenders, I feel, are just going to bully him, and they won't do that with Darwin. You might not get the refined play of Nunez, but one thing he's going to give you is a constant goal threat, and he's going to be able to occupy a defence. And I don't think Gakpo's doing that at the moment.
No, Gakpo almost looks like a midfielder to me. And I said it when he signed, and I got slaughtered for it, but I could see Gakpo playing midfield later in his career.
Because, remember, I said that as well.
Yeah, because look at the way he plays. Do you know what? I said this the other day on my channel. Some people laughed at me about it, yeah. But if you look at his physique and the way he plays, yeah, and when he comes deep to the ball, he turns. He's not quick, but he's got that massive stride, and he can pull defenders away from him. He reminds me a little bit of Yaya Toure. Now,
I see it.
The way he's built, the way he moves, the way he runs, he reminds me of that. I'm not saying he's anywhere near that. I mean, if he turned out to be something like that, we're laughing. But, you know, I just don't see Gakpo playing this forward role. You got Darwin Nunez there. I think Klopp does like. I've always wondered if Klopp actually rates Darwin, because I don't think Darwin's ever completed 90 minutes either. And in the Premier League, I don't know if he's ever completed 90 minutes.
I'm trying to think. You might actually be onto something, Jay. I'm trying to actually think back now. Did he? Maybe no. Man United? No, he didn't at Man United.
I think he's the only striker who's not completed 90 minutes.
Wow, you might be right on
in
that.
The Premier League.
That's quite scary.
And he went with something at the beginning of the season where he went Salah really wide, Diaz really wide, and he played Darwin Nunez through the middle. I don't know who came up with that tactic, because if you looked at Darwin at Benfica, he's useless as a single striker. That's not his game. Yeah. He likes to play off somebody, either a number 10 or another striker.
Yeah.
And that, for me, they've got to change the way we play to adapt Darwin Nunez into this team, because Klopp likes strikers who can defend. Pep's quite similar to that. He tried to get rid of Aguero and get Jesus in, because Jesus was a better defensive forward. He did the work. And then Aguero was like, no, I'm world class. I can make myself that. Don't worry about it. Just give me a few weeks. And I think that's what Klopp might be looking for Darwin to do. And I've been thinking it for a while now. Maybe that's why Darwin's being played left wing a lot this season, because he's trying to teach him the game and trying to learn the game. Because if you're playing left wing, you have to come back and defend, try and pick up balls on the halfway line and do that counter press that he rates. But I just don't know if it's ever going to be in Darwin's game. I'm not sure. And then I think you might be taking away all Darwin's strengths and making him a player that he can't possibly be. Because in my opinion, Darwin's a one-touch finisher.
Yes.
And you get him in the box. You've seen the goals he's scored in the box this season. They're all one-touches. When you don't have to think about it, he puts it away quite nicely. He's not that sort of player who can get the ball, run 20 yards and stuff. That's not him. It's not his game, unfortunately. Get him in around the box, get him in that box, but we've got to play to his style. And the midfielders we're looking to buy, do they play to Darwin Nunez's style?
This is my problem with it. We've got Carvalho, Firmino, Curtis Jones, and Harvey Elliott, who, in my opinion, are all 10s. But not once have we played with a 10. And it feels as though it almost feels like Nunez is screaming out for a 10. Because one is just going to occupy the defenders. It's going to take onus away from him. Plus, you're going to have a bit of creativity behind him. We saw it with Carvalho as well. When Carvalho played against City.
Sorry, she escaped.
Bro, this happens to me all the time. So you don't have to apologize. I'm the last person to apologize, because Stevie and Robbie are always in here with me.
Kids,
but it feels as though even when Carvalho played against City in the Carabao Cup, he got a goal, and that's because the defense were occupied with Nunez. Nunez made a run, defenders went with him. Carvalho's edge of the box, he's free. But we've not capitalized on that. And look, I love Klopp, I love Firmino, but one of the biggest things that has really ruffled my feathers is that you've brought in a striker, and you probably knew this could have been Bobby's last season. You should have played Bobby as a 10 this season, at least give him a run while he was in the team. But we just never did. And then it just feels like we got great out of Bobby, but we never got the absolute best out of Bobby, in my opinion, because we never got to play him with a 10, with a striker in front of him. And we had a chance to do it this season. I had a chance to do it with Elliott. Jones in the youth academy came up as a 10. I was deadly as a 10. Now we've got a striker that can be it.
Didn't Curtis Jones play false 9 for the under-21s recently as well?
Couple times.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's mad. Like with the Bobby stuff, he's going to go down as a Liverpool legend. There's no doubt about it. But you look at I agree what you're saying. You got Darwin, like the summer transfer market this season. They got Carvalho in, who's a 10, and then they got Darwin Nunez in, who's an out-and-out number 9 who loves running into space. He'll make that run. He actually's got very good movement, Darwin Nunez. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic movement.
And when he's in behind, you ain't catching him. It's game over. But we don't want him to go in behind and he's still got 20 yards to run. You just want that 5 yards. And when I think we was all excited. Oh, we got Carvalho who's tore it up in the Championship. We've seen players come from the Championship that have been stellar quality footballers. You only got to look at Jude Bellingham. Jesus Christ, there's players there. Ivan Toney is probably the best penalty taker in world football, for goodness sake. You got quality players down in that lower level. Is it Alex Scott at the moment at Bristol City?
Bristol.
Everyone's talking about. Liverpool fans don't want him, but I can understand it because we need more at the moment. But he could probably go be a diamond of a footballer. And Carvalho did it against the big boys. And what makes me confused about all this, we sent Harvey Elliott on loan to Blackburn to play a bit of men's football, bring him back a bit stronger. And then he coached straight in the team again. Carvalho did all that. I think it was one of the players of the year in the Championship, had a great relationship with their striker, Ibišević. And then I thought that's what we're going to do. Oh, and Cal's froze. I'll carry on while Cal comes back. I think Cal's froze. And that's what I don't get. That, we got that. Why did we buy Darwin Nunez and not play him in his position properly? Why did we leave Carvalho in the middle, guys? Let me know in the chat. Big up to everyone. We'll just let Cal, I'll take you out and let you sort yourself out, man. We'll let Cal sort yourself out. Big up Jeff. FSG won't pay the money for Jude equaling for Jude breaking star third baseman. Rafael Denvers was the Boston Red Sox are finalising. Yeah, that's true, man. Big up, Cal. There he is. He's
about
back.
That, bro.
He's back. No worries. He's internet things, man. Don't worry about it. Well, I shouldn't have put that on the screen. I don't know what that was about. Sorry.
Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. You're just a little bit behind us all on your video.
Cool.
No, you're good now.
Cool.
It's just I just don't understand why Carvalho's not been used in his position this season. Why don't who did the work? Surely, if you go by Darwin, you know what he plays like. If you go by Carvalho, you know what he plays like. Then Carvalho, if you weren't going to play him, should have put him in Premier League loan all season, right? In his first season, getting back the following year. Because now we're going to have to do that next season. So he's going to go on loan next season. So we're not going to see Carvalho again till the third season. And it's like we wasted 12 months of Carvalho at Liverpool. Darwin Nunez, for me, looks like he's been wasted a little bit at Liverpool because he's playing here, there, and everywhere. Klopp keeps going on about the language barrier. I don't know how much of a language barrier you need to go run in behind and score. I don't know. I don't remember Luis Suarez having a problem with the language barrier and stuff like that, to be perfectly fair.
Am I back now?
Basketball defense.
Oh, come on.
I can hear you, Cal. If you just want to do your take the video off.
Jay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just that you froze on screen, that's all. I can hear you. Diaz doesn't speak English, though. Yeah, exactly, Scraps, and he's absolutely fine. Nunez was Klopp signing, not the recruitment they made mids, but Klopp insisted on Nunez. That's true. Klopp is unsure what to do with Nunez. I agree. Good evening, Jane Cal. I'm a big fan of Coppish also. Big up Mick, the Irish Scouser. We'll just let Cal. Cal's having issues with his Wi-Fi at the moment, but he's okay. We're getting back in. Suarez was class. Yeah, there's things like that where, the situation with Darwin, I don't know what we're going to do. I look at Darwin Nunez as a player, you know what he's going to do. He wants to run in behind into space. He's lightning quick. And he wants to play that link-up play where he can get into the box and finish, yeah? That's what Darwin wants to do. He's not a defensive-minded forward like a Gakpo or a Jota where he can win the ball back on the halfway line and start counter-pressing attacks. That's not Darwin's game. So it does make me think what we'll be doing next season. It's going to be an interesting one, Darwin. Guys, let me in the chat know right now, what do you think is going to happen to Liverpool's front line in the next season? Are we staying with this 4-3-3? Do you think Darwin Nunez will be the main number 9 next season, or do you think it'll still be Gakpo or maybe Jota? Let me know in the live chat right now. Yeah, no, and with Klopp's system, do you think it would change it up? Let me know in the live chat. Cal's Wi-Fi is moving like VVD at the back. Yeah, I think it's more his laptop than his Wi-Fi, to be fair. Virgin Media tax. Everyone knows. Cal's frozen also. 4-3-3 high line. Trudon says, I think we need to move to a 3-4-2, a 3-2-4-1. That's a good point. Carvalho was cheap, but Nunez is ready to play in a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2. Get him in the team. Gakpo is not work long time, Jamie. It's a big shout. I think we stick with 4-3-3. Nunez will struggle because of this. Should have got Musa Diaby, can play both sides and slowly integrate him and Salah understudy. I think we're looking for a Firmino replacement. So we're looking for a Firmino replacement. I'd say Gakpo is the Bobby Firmino replacement, guys. What do you think? I think if you go, you look at the way Gakpo's playing right now, he probably is going to be the Bobby Firmino replacement. Klopp get Barella, big up Carmino. No, the thing with Barella, guys, Italians don't really leave. Italians never really leave. They just go and play with AC Milan. They go into Milan. They go to Juventus, and they go back and forth, back and forth. It's very rare that Italians really leave. Top quality Italians rarely leave. There you go. The man's back. Big up, Cal.
Hi, AJ, bro. I've had to tune in on my phone. I don't know what's going on with my laptop. Apologies, man.
That's all right. That's all right, man. It happens. JB, I think Nunez should start as a 9 and Gakpo as a backup. What about Gakpo as a 10, Cal?
Again, it's going to sound like I'm just anti-Gakpo. I'm not, but I don't. So whenever I think of a 10, maybe this is really unfair, but I think of someone who can just find that pass no one else can find in the team. Just that sprinkle of magic. I don't see that with Gakpo. He'd be more of a second striker if he was a 10 as opposed to creative striker. And I think we'd need a creator there for Nunez rather than someone else who can get goals. Like, granted, goals win games, but I think it would become a case of they're almost getting each other's way sometimes because they'd both be trying to get into the same positions potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I think you might be right. And Luis Diaz, I think Luis Diaz is the one. Like, I personally think I've been watching what Luis Diaz does, and I think Klopp might be looking at Luis Diaz to play right wing for Liverpool eventually. I got a feeling he might play in right wing in some games. He come on and sub the other day at right wing. I believe he played a little bit of right wing against Arsenal back at the beginning of the season. I think Klopp's tried him there a few times. What do you reckon, Cal? Do you see Diaz playing there occasionally if Salah needs to be rested for a game or two next season?
I do, but I sincerely hope not. Anyone who watches me speak on that right hand side, Diaby's a guy. Like, this whole shoehorning business, we've done it for so long now. I just don't want us doing it anymore. I just feel as though I even hate putting this out in the atmosphere, but we're an injury or a really bad dip of form away from having a very makeshift right wing. Jota's not good on the right wing. Darwin wouldn't be any good on the right wing. And I think the same goes for Diaz. If I'm not mistaken, even Diaz's youth career growing up, shout out to Chris Angel because I speak to him as well.
Yeah.
Never been good on the right. Like, this whole stuff of shoehorning players in just for the sake of it, it's not for me, man. Just go and get someone like a Musa Diaby, because we also have to think about longevity for Salah as well. Like, I want Salah to be playing because he's earned it, not because we have no one to even compete against him. Someone like a Musa Diaby comes in and changes that.
Well, can you imagine how much better Mo would get if Musa Diaby was his backup right winger?
Exactly.
Because the thing with Mo this season, it's mad because his output is great. Mo's output is always going to be amazing, no matter what he does. But I wouldn't say he's been great this season, though, Mo Salah. But his output's is great, so you can't ever. It's hard to criticise Mo when he's got great output. But I wouldn't say he's been great this season. And the reason with that is that Mo looks over his shoulder and training and goes, well, "There's no one really going to take my spot on Saturday, is there?" So
exactly.
And we saw what happened with Robbo. Tsimikas came into the team, played well, and Robbo was like, hang on, I've got a bit of competition there now. It just helps competition, and this gets me to another player we've got to talk about. So certain new inverted right back we have in our team, Cal. Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Our new DM playmaker right back. right midfielder. Trent's not even a false 2 anymore. He's just a false footballer now. Like he covers so many positions.
He's just look. What we will always say with Trent is that going forward, Trent can arguably be absolutely world class going forward. There's no doubt about that. He's probably our most creative player on that pitch, no matter where he plays. And my problem is my problem with Trent at right back, and I've said this for a while now. I don't know how much defensively better Trent is from his debut for Liverpool to today, because when he made his debut for Liverpool, he came into a team in the next couple of years that was a machine that, the forward line and the midfield pressed oppositions to death. No one really got onto our back line much. They never really got that exposed. You only ever saw the exposed of Trent is when the midfield started to crumble, over the last 12 to 18 months. You've really seen that an issue. And he's 24 years of age now. I don't know how long I want to keep going every season going, right, Trent will get better defensively. When do we go to his 29, 30 and go, right, maybe Trent's never going to get better defensively. So is it time we hide his weaknesses but show his strengths more and maybe put him further up the field?
Okay, so what I'm going to say is probably going to sound really stupid, but bear with me because I think I have got method to my absolute madness. I think Trent's a better defender than when he made his debut, but I think he's less willing to defend now. And I think defending is very much a mentality and mindset. And if you haven't played defense, you might not understand what I'm saying, but I played both defense and attack when I was playing football. And a lot of it comes down to mindset. It's the effort level you're willing to put in. When Trent wants to defend, he's not easy to just destroy and beat. Like even in the last few games where he's been playing as an inverted fullback, defensively, this is the best we've seen him for a while because he wants to defend now because he knows, I'm all action. I get to do the other stuff I love to do rather than just this.
Yeah.
I think the issue Trent's got is he needs to have that desire to defend even when he doesn't want to. And you look at someone who's on the other end of the spectrum, someone like a Wan-Bissaka who's superb defensively, but very average attacking wise. When Wan-Bissaka goes forward, he doesn't seem like he really wants to be there or he enjoys it. However, when he's in a one-on-one battle, it's like he's licking his lips, whereas Trent is the complete opposite. Trent only gets over that for me, though, if we have another right back in the team who he looks at and goes, if I have 2 bad games, 3 bad games, and Klopp can put this guy in and I could be out the team for a little while. And I think that's the problem we have with quite a few of our players. But again, that also comes down to Klopp's loyalty because we could have gone and got someone like a Jed Spence or a Max Aarons or even a Jeremy Frimpong last summer, and we didn't do that. We decided to go and get another project player to play as a right back.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that assessment. There's one other thing I think as well. I actually think Trent's a better defender in midfield than he is in defending when he's defender. If that makes sense. Because if you look at what Trent's good strengths are, Trent's very good at intercepting. He's a very good interceptor of the ball, and he would be stronger in a midfield position doing that than he will in a defensive position. I was watching. I think it was an ESPN show the other day, and they were talking about Trent, and they had all these stats up about him and these maps up and all that, and they're saying what they noticed from him that he's scanning more in midfield than he does at right back.
Yeah,
he's even looking behind him for defensive midfield. Look at the times he covered Virgil the other day against Forest in that in a centre back role, right? Because he understands that role better in midfield. What we got to remember about Trent, the man was brought up as a midfielder when he was a kid. He was made into a right back. Sometimes I think you got to go over a player's natural ability. Look, Kimmich could play right back at one time, but then they found out that Kimmich's strengths would be more suited to a midfield role.
Same with Philip Lahm.
Same with Philip Lahm, yeah. Put his strengths where but Philip Lahm was just
Yeah, he's probably a bad example. Like he's total footballer.
Finland Arms probably play up front to be fair.
Yeah, yeah.
But Trent, I think Trent. I mean, even against Arsenal, that first half hour, it weren't just Trent. The whole team was rubbish against Arsenal for that first half hour.
Yeah.
But the last hour of that game, Liverpool dominated, and Trent was dominating the midfield.
Yeah. He was our best player that day.
He dominated the midfield against Leeds. He was probably arguably our best player against Leeds as well.
Yeah.
And you could argue he's probably our best player, probably our best player against Forest as well. He's got 4 assists in his last 2 games. Before we made him this inverted fullback, I think he only had 2 or 3 assists all season.
Yeah. And that wasn't his fault, to be fair, because Salah and Nunez have been missing so many chances this season.
Yeah, exactly.
Trent really should have been on double figures this season for assists again.
So again, if Trent is, because I think Klopp might just go with this now till the end of the season, because what else we've got to lose? Top 4 is not really on, and let's try and finish the season really well. I don't really care where we finish now, to be fair. I just want a good end to the season, go into next season with some positivity. Just experiment with Trent, see what it's like. But the problem is, Trent might be so good in this role that Klopp's got no choice but to keep him in midfield.
Yeah.
And this might be the issue. Because I've always said, I don't know about you, Cal, but I've been thinking this for a while now. I don't know if it matters who we buy in the summer in midfield and keep the same system. Trent at right back might be still a liability going forward, because I think teams are still try and look at Trent as the weakest point of our side if he plays right back. No matter who we got in that midfield, if we keep the same system. Because I don't know if the system will work for a whole season next year the way it used to, because I still think there's some players that might need to come out of this. We've got to evolve eventually, in my opinion. Yeah. Football clubs evolve all the time.
So here's the thing. It's weird because I think it depends on formation and personnel. Now, again, I don't mean this to sound disrespectful to Henderson, but I think Trent moves higher up the pitch and into midfield when he's not playing inverted, because I don't feel as though he trusts Henderson to do any creating in front of him. But here's the thing. Let's say for example we had an absolutely top quality. Let's say we did something mad and we went and got a Barella, for example, and Barella was playing on the right hand side.
Yeah,
I think Trent's way more disciplined. Yeah. And I think he looks at Barella and goes, I'll pick my moments when to go forward, which will mean I'll have more energy when I'm defending, and I'll enjoy defending a bit more, because I won't have to think every couple of minutes that I've got to create or we don't score today. So I think if we're going to keep the same system and tactics, we need someone who's... I personally think we should try and get Manu Kone and not play him as a 6, but play him as a right-sided 8, because I think that just covers Trent in all areas. But another formation, which is the 4-2-3-1, like it would just mean he wouldn't have to advance as much, because you'd have 3 attackers behind the sole striker, which means you're expecting those 3 attackers behind the striker to chip him with goals and assists. So again, Trent can pick and choose when he goes forward, as opposed to thinking, I need to get involved in every attack, because if I don't get involved in every attack, we might not score. So again, a lot of this comes down to Klopp and tactics and how he manages the team. But Trent's a massive weapon in terms of going forward. But you're right, I don't want to be finishing games and we go, yeah, Trent got 2 assists today, but we also conceded 3 because Trent wasn't defending right. Because then it's counterproductive to what we want to achieve at the end of the season.
Well, and that's my worry with making him an inverted fullback, because I think the longer you keep Trent as an inverted fullback, Trent will be very happy sitting in midfield. That he won't purposely forget, but I think he'll forget his defensive duties at times into that right back area. Plus, you are killing Kanate playing this.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already a doubt for West Ham. I didn't even know he got injured. The man.
Yeah, same.
I don't know what we do in training sessions. It must be just a gladiator event in training.
Or Ninja Warrior. It's Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
Takeshi's Castle. Remember Takeshi's Castle?
It's a madness. I don't know what happens, man. But we are going to waste Kanate. I don't know why Klopp just don't go, right, stuff it. Let's just play 3 at the back till the end of the season. Then you ain't got to worry about this inverted stuff. Make Trent a right wing back. I tell you, I think that's his position personally. I've been saying it for a while. I think Trent as a right wing back would be excellent because he can play that intercept. His interceptions in that area of the pitch would be fantastic. Plus, he's got three centre backs at the back where one can come over. You've got a midfielder you got that double pivot where one can come in behind Trent as well. And I think you get the best out of Trent's game. Why are we trying to make Trent I also look at it. Why are we trying to make Trent say maybe he ain't?
Yeah, you're right. And bro, I've been talking about Liverpool playing a three at the back for the longest amount of time now, and
we've got the players.
It just feels as though Klopp just doesn't want to do it, no matter what. However, we are kind of doing it in transition, but for him to actually start the formation like that and play in 90 minutes, it's like he just hates the idea of it. If we are going to do that, I'd want us to sign a left-footed left centre-back. And I think we need one anyway, because even if we don't go three at the back, we still need someone who can actually play instead of Virgil when Virgil's out of form or injured or suspended. So for me, playing three at the back is one of the formations I really want to see next season, because Trent, without that defensive responsibility, or as much defensive responsibility, shall I say, we see what he's doing as an inverted fullback. As a wing back, it could be a whole nother ball game. We could unlock a different side of Trent that we didn't even realise he had in him.
Exactly, because I look at Reece James quite a lot, and I think Reece James is a fabulous footballer. But I think Reece James has quite a lot of the similar problems Trent has when he's playing right back, but it don't get highlighted anywhere near as much as Trent.
Yeah,
I've seen Reece James have absolute howlers at the back, absolute howlers, even this season. But when he plays right wing back, Reece James is a completely different animal.
Yeah,
and I watch it sometimes. I think when we played Chelsea the other week, Reece James was playing right wing back, and he was getting in lovely positions on the pitch, and he was attacking. He was a real threat. He was probably their best player. I was looking at him thinking, right, Trent does that, and he's better at it. Why can't we just stick him where he's so strong? Look, he's been our best player the last 3 games.
Easily as well.
And he's playing a more advanced role. I do think it is going to be something Klopp's going to think about. But if you say you make him a midfielder next season, say Klopp goes, you know what? Trent is so good at this role right now. I'm going to just keep him there next season, build that midfield around him. Because what I like about Trent, and this ain't been spoke about enough, is that Trent keeps the ball moving continuously.
Yeah.
And when you've got a midfielder who keeps the ball continuously moving, even if it's just a 2-yard pass, a 3-yard pass, or then it's a 50-yard split or something like that, it keeps the opposition on their toes. It doesn't let them stand in position. You don't let them set, because you're constantly moving the ball. It's a bit like Pirlo used to do his whole career, constantly moving the ball all over in the midfield. It might not always be a beautiful pass. It might just be, but it's constantly moving. And that's what Trent's done the last 3 games. And Klopp might have to go, you know what, let's get a decent right back in the summer, a competitive right back in the summer, and play Trent in the midfield. But if you did play Trent in midfield next season, what does that do to our summer transfer window then?
So what are we saying, Jen? Gakpo and Trent are the new set of midfielders. We just didn't know it, yeah?
Because I do believe, I know a lot of people don't believe this, but I actually think Liverpool will spend quite a bit of money in the summer, because I think FSG got no choice. Because look, FSG like making money. Liverpool have to get good again for make money. They have to be in the Champions League. The reason our revenues are so high right now is because we're always in Champions League finals for the last 3-5 years. We're making Champions League finals continuously. So revenue's going up because of it. You're out of the Champions League. The longer you're out of it, your revenues will start to drop, and they'll be like, "Hang on, we're here for revenues." They've said it themselves. FSG are here for commercial revenue. So if you want your commercial revenue to stay high, you have to spend at least at some time. So I think they will have a decent summer window.
I hope you're right, Jay. But you know my thoughts on the owners, bro.
Yeah,
I need to see it.
It's not going to be their money, but it's they're going to spend. They're going to spend. I've always said it, though, Cal. I don't actually mind being a sell to buy club as long as we do it properly.
Yeah,
I don't actually mind it as long as we do it properly. I don't mind, but we don't. I'm going to say it right now. But just before COVID started and the pandemic started, I think our owners got lazy.
Yeah, the whole club did.
So since COVID, the whole club has got completely lazy and forgot what they do. It's like they woke up and thought, I can't remember what we used to do, how we used to run this club. Because no one was moaning about how well run we were before then. Everyone knew their roles.
I was moaning. To be fair,
but everyone knew their roles in the team, didn't they? Like the manager had his role, the sporting director had his role, the owners had their role, the analytics team had their role, and now all I know that runs this football club are John W. Henry and Jurgen Klopp
and Pep Lijnders.
Yeah, Pep. But the Pep Lijnders thing's a mad one because he's just a coach. If you're blaming Pep Lijnders, for me, you haven't got the you haven't got the guts to blame Jurgen Klopp.
You still have to blame Klopp, because Klopp's the one signing everything off.
Like when people say, "Oh, Gakpo's Lijnders signing and Darwin's Klopp signing." Well, Lijnders bought the better player because he's the one working right now in the system that Klopp wants to play.
Yeah, and Klopp's playing the Lijnders players more than he's playing the Klopp player.
So it's like we got to stop that. I've always said it: if we win together, they all done it together. We lose together, they're all losing together. We can't pick. We should be picking sides here. It's balmy, but with the players coming in the summer, look, Mason Mount is obviously the one that keeps being spoke about. With the news of Pochettino coming to Chelsea, do you think that keeps Mason Mount at Chelsea now?
I hope so. But I don't know, Jay. Here's the thing. If I'm going to be completely honest, and I might be so wrong on this, it feels as though Mason Mount and his team have played a blinder because it feels as though they have used us to potentially position him to get the contract that he wants to get. Because Chelsea aren't stupid. The last thing they're going to be thinking to themselves, right, we sold Salah, went to Liverpool, became world class. Sold De Bruyne, went to Man City, became world class. Sold flipping, who else did they sell? Who's the other one? Daniel Sturridge, came to Liverpool, was absolutely phenomenal. Can they afford to take that risk with Mason Mount? Because look, I'm not a big Mason Mount fan, but imagine he comes to Liverpool and does an absolute madness. Chelsea are ruined after that. Like, we'll never let them hear the end of it. Like, their homegrown boy comes to us and does a madness. Like, we'll never let them live that down. I think Mason Mount's always wanted to stay at Chelsea. I think Chelsea have always wanted to keep him. I just think they're at a loggerheads with regards to how much he wants, which from what I hear is a lot, but it's not a lot considering who's getting what at Chelsea, because let's say Havertz is on 250k, then Mason Mount should be on 300k if that's the going rate, you know what I mean? So I don't think he's wrong for trying to get the amount he's getting, but here's another thing. If he wants that at Chelsea, what's going to make people think he's not going to want that at Liverpool? We ain't going to pay him that, though.
It's mad. I don't blame Mason Mount, because he'll look at it and go, look, I was 2-time player of the year. Only Eden Hazard's done that at Chelsea. For Chelsea Football Club, he was 2-time player of the year for him, I believe. He helped with the Champions League. To be fair to him, when he came into Chelsea, he was a bloody good player for him. And he's probably looking at him thinking, right, you're bringing all these players in, these nobodies. You got the Chernobyl Walcott in Mudryk. You got all these players on there on massive contracts, on big money, and Mason Mount must be sitting there thinking, hang on, I'm out in the cold right now, but I've helped achieve things for this football club before any of these guys come in. So I can understand from a business point of view why I'd want more money. As a player, that what Mason Mount is, he should nowhere be near 200 grand a week. He's not that kind of player. He's on 80 grand a week right now. Double that, 160. That's probably his limit, right? Yeah. So if he did come into Liverpool, he's just taking Oxlade-Chamberlain's wage. That's all he's doing. Yeah. He's just taking.
I can live with that.
Well, Ox is on right now, and look, Ox is, he's the only player, as far as I'm concerned, that Jurgen Klopp doesn't actually want to keep. And that would be fine for me, but I do think we need. Look, I don't know if our summer transfer window is a bit in a mess already, because obviously Bellingham was the one we were after. I don't know what's going on with that. I personally think Bellingham's going to stay at Borussia Dortmund.
I hope so.
And I think Liverpool get him the following summer on a buyout clause, because I do believe Jude wants to come to Liverpool. Yeah. And then the other one was Mason Mount. And if he stays at Chelsea, Bellingham stays at Borussia Dortmund, who's left for Liverpool to look at? I know everyone's going about Barella, but Italians don't really leave, do they?
I don't see Barella leaving in there.
Barella's going to They do that. They do that triangle, don't they? They go Inter Milan, AC Milan, Juventus, and they
Yeah.
keep doing that, don't they? Constantly, and it don't seem a problem over there. Over here, that'd be nuts to us, but over there, they don't seem to care. So he'll probably stay there. So that's him out of the equation. Then the only other player we've been heavily linked with is Ryan Gravenberch, who I would absolutely love at this football club. I know news came out about Bayern Munich want to keep him. Thomas Tuchel's still not playing him. You know, he's still on the bench. So all this talk about player, but he's still on the bench right now. Do you think
is Tuchel a long-term manager, or is he just kind of interim?
I have no idea. I think well, apparently Mane beat up Nagelsmann, then he beat up Sane, and then they've all left, and then Tuchel's come in, and I have no idea. I have no idea. I mean, I would love Gravenberch at 50 million. I think he would be.
I don't think it would cost that much.
No, exactly. Well, they were talking about 25 the other day, weren't they? But do you reckon, because that story broke of 25, and then a few days later, Bayern Munich come out and said, we don't want to let him go. Do you reckon it's like, we will let him go if the right money comes along?
I think every player in world football, bar maybe 3 or 4 players in the world, they all got a price. Here's the thing: if Gravenberch comes, we still need to sign someone else. In my opinion, we need someone who's better defensively than Gravenberch. Gravenberch is excellent going forward, and excellent when he's got the ball at his feet driving forward. We need someone like a Thuram. We need someone like a Kone. I'm sick of watching Liverpool and watching us getting physically bullied in midfield, whether it be physically, whether it be shoulder to shoulder, or pace wise, or power. I want to see a couple of players come in and we go, right, you've got technical ability, so we'll do the technical stuff. But you see, when you go to games like Burnley away or I don't know, Nottingham Forest away, they stand up and go, right, physical battle today? Yeah, no problem, let's do it. And it's been a while since I've seen us be able to do that.
Yeah, I agree. We do need a physical. That's why a lot of people were talking about Agate, I think.
Agate, Kone or Thuram, I'm good, bro.
Yeah, Thuram's a great. I watched Nice the other day. I think it was in the Conference League game, and he looks a decent player, man. He looks a decent player.
He's a killer, Jay. We could have signed him in January for about 25 or 30.
I know, but the forward line was the issue, so we got that. Man, it's mad because there's players out there who walk into our team right now that don't cost that much money. This is the mad thing.
Yeah,
I watched I did the watch along for the Brighton Man United Cup semi-final, which now I wish I didn't because that was terrible. But what I will say on it, the 2 best midfielders on that pitch were Alex McAllister and Caicedo by a complete mile. Them two, like Liverpool, apparently Liverpool are highly interested in Alexis McAllister. Go and get him. If it's 60 million, go and get him. Just go and get him, because this is I think he'll suit our system, he'll suit our style. He plays that counter pressing with Brighton. You know, I just love the guy, Cal. I don't know about you. I just think he'd be brilliant for us.
All right, I rate him. I know it's going to sound controversial. Yeah, is he as good without a Caicedo type midfielder next to him, though?
Well, we'll find out with Fabinho next season, won't we?
And that's my worry, though. Do you know what I mean? It's like Danny Drinkwater looked brilliant next to Kante. The moment he went next to Kante, didn't really look like the same player. Do you know what I mean? So again, that's no shade on McAllister, because I do think he's quality, but Caicedo seems to be that all-action one, and McAllister's doing the neat stuff around it, as well as hard. He's a hard worker. I'm not trying to say he's not, but the physical, the ugly stuff is Caicedo. If I'm going to be honest, I'm at a point now, you see like South America or Asia or these unknown European teams.
Scout.
For me, we should be scout. We don't scout anymore. Like all the names that we come up with are names that we come up with as fans. Like we shouldn't be able to do that. Liverpool should be able to. They should have a network out there that is uncovering players like Pep does. Julian Alvarez, flipping Gabriel Jesus, Kaike is another one they got last summer. Why are Man City able to do it, but we can't? Where are our scouts? Do they only travel to Premier League games or European games? Because they're football outside of it.
They sit on a computer and look at the data, don't they?
See, that winds me up. Put it this way: last summer we could have got Kavashvili, the summer before we could have got Caicedo, and we could have got Matoma, for example, all for under 20 mil.
Enzo Fernandez.
Now, Enzo Fernandez, 10 million. Criminal.
Surely we're looking at them. But the thing is, though, we can't be looking at them because whoever's scouting Enzo Fernandez again, you know what? He looks like a top player, but is he better than Henderson right now? And I swear that's the way we think about it in these meetings. We must look at it and go, right, who's going to be better than what we got? And I'm like, well,
everyone.
A lot of players. It's just like we have probably got the worst midfield quartet in the Premier League in some ways. You know, you look at Wolves, Navas, Matheus Nunes. You know, they got players.
Yeah, João Gomez, Lamina.
Yeah, they probably get players that go into our team. You know, Nottingham Forest the other day probably had a midfielder or two going, into our team. It's just, I'm sick of Henderson. I love the guy. I got his book. I love the guy. He's a great leader and captain. He's been a great servant to this football club. But it doesn't bring us enough quality anymore. And for me, I've said this.
Same with Fabinho as well, to be fair.
Well, Fabinho, I said it last season that Fabinho was declining and everyone was going at me. And I said, I could tell there's something not quite right with him. You know, look, he's 37. Let's get it right. I want to that because he looks old as well. He don't look 29. I've never seen a 29-year-old that looks like this, Cal. That's how Fabinho looks. That is how Fabinho looks. And I don't know any. Look, Modric is 37, and
he's quicker and everything.
And he looks younger than Fabinho, who's apparently shattered being 29. Man City, Fernandinho was in his 40s. Man was he could probably play now. He never looked tired. I don't know the Fabinho one. I think Fabinho. All jokes aside, I'm just hoping he has a great summer off. Get Alisson to baptise him. Do something. Go back to Brazil and chill out for a month or so. And come back and hopefully he's rejuvenated. I don't know.
But here's another killer, bro. Last January, who did Newcastle sign? Bruno Guimaraes. For what, 25 mil?
And apparently we're interested in him now, but we know we can't buy him because it'd be too expensive. Why were we interested in him when he was 25 mil?
But here's the thing. Again, these are just rumours I've heard. I heard Klopp was offered and we said no. And again, these are just rumours, so I can't sit here and be like, that's concrete facts. Yeah. But if that's the case, then what are we doing, man?
It don't make sense, does it? It's like, I don't know. The transfer stuff is, I don't know. I really don't know. I can't always blame FSG for everything. I really can't. Because I think Klopp does have a lot of power and a lot of say what comes at this football club. I do think, I've said it a while, I think if, say Klopp weren't in charge this season, I think 2 midfielders would have came in the summer.
Yeah.
Here's one as well for you. Here's one for you as well, Cal. What players is Klopp actively looking at getting rid of this season?
Well, none unless they're leaving on a free. And the reason I say that is because he's come out and look, this is where I get into arguments with people in the fan base, because when he says certain things, they're like, oh, well, you got to read in between the lines. But other times when he says bad stuff on FSG, it's like, I told you Klopp was right all along. Klopp has come out about 4 or 5 times and said, unless a player tells me and comes to me and says they want to leave, I will not sell a player. That's crazy, bro. So with that being said, I don't think we're looking at moving anyone on.
It's mad. If you think about it, the only ones going are the ones that are leaving for free. Also,
and he tried to renew some of those guys as well.
He's tried to keep Bobby. He's trying to keep him desperate.
And Naby. Remember, we offered Naby a new contract.
He offered Naby a new deal. He's still talking about James Milner maybe staying yet.
Yeah.
Why are we not going? Like, I watched Pep Guardiola get rid of Cancelo in January.
Yeah. We would never.
And I'm like, how long do we keep these players for? Now, how long is Henderson literally going to retire at Liverpool Football Club?
Yeah, he is.
He's got 2 years.
Unless someone else comes in.
Who's going in for Henderson? I don't even think Sunderland want him. I just I tell you what, I can see Jordan Henderson in 2 years going to Wrexham. You know, Wrexham are doing a madness. They're going to be in the Premier League in 4 years. So
yeah.
I can see Endo going to Wrexham and saying, like, I just don't know who, like, Nat Phillips is probably going to go. We've been trying to get rid of.
Gonna miss that guy.
We've been trying to get rid of. We've been trying to get rid of my cousin for a while now. You know,
I'll be honest, Jay. I know it's gonna sound controversial. I know it sounds really harsh for me to say this as well. Kelleher and Nat Phillips, I think we'll get Europa this season.
Yeah.
If I'm Klopp, I'm turning around to Nat Phillips and Kelleher and I'm saying, sorry guys, you got to stay for another year. We need your help.
Yeah, they can play Europa League. It gives Kelleher a lot of football next season.
Yeah, it does. But it only gives him football if Klopp allows him to have that football.
But then, I thought Kelleher would get all the FA Cup games and Allison's in.
No. Yeah, exactly.
So Kelleher might be looking at it and go, yeah, you say that now.
But yeah,
Allison's playing against Sturm Graz. You know, what's the point? Kelleher didn't, even when we qualified out the Champions League the year before when we won all our Champions League games, and Kelleher didn't even get in the last game.
Yeah.
Alisson
it's
played.
criminal.
It's the start. We've got a quality number 2 there, arguably the best number 2 in the Premier League, and we're not using him. Also with Kelleher, it's hard to stand in his way if he wants to be a first team goalkeeper in the Premier League somewhere. Tottenham need a goalkeeper. I'm telling you right now, he's better than Lloris right now. He's
been better than Lloris for a couple of years now, to be honest.
I mean, Lloris, I don't know how Lloris has had so many French caps. I don't know what's going on there, but that man's. I mean, he refused to come out for the second half apparently against Newcastle.
No way.
Apparently, that's the rumours going around right now. Apparently, some Newcastle fans saying on some channels and that saying that Tottenham fans saying on some Tottenham fan channels they're saying they heard that he refused to come out in the second half. He didn't get subbed. He refused to come out. That's just absolutely mad. You know, how can he play again? That's Tottenham. Tottenham are funny though. They sack a caretaker manager. They give another job to another caretaker manager.
Yes, it's wild. I've never. When was the last time you heard of a caretaker manager actually get sacked?
Oh man, I was worried because we got them Sunday, and I thought, manager will bounce, and I'm like, no, it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, it's Mason again.
Oh man, but yeah, it's just look, this summer is, I think, Jurgen Klopp's most important summer since he's been Liverpool manager.
Yeah,
without a shadow of a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Players need to leave. Players need to come in. But here's one for you. I don't know if this season is just a big blip. It's just a big. What it is, it's just been a cluster of F word. Yeah, it's just been an absolute crap show, right? I think personally, I don't know about you, Cal, but I think the Premier League's quite weak this year. I don't think it's a strong league. And this ain't me taking the mick out of Arsenal fans for. They all come at me. You deserve to be where you are in the league. But I think Arsenal have surprised everyone in the Premier League this season and took everyone by surprise. I don't think that'll be the same next season. So I look at Arsenal's squad still, and it's not great. Got a great first 11, but the squad's not great. And, you know, you look where Newcastle are with the team they got. Yes, they got a good team, but they're a top 4 team. I don't think so. You got Spurs are terrible, and they're 6th. You know, but they're awful. They're 11th or 12th.
They are awful.
You take Harry Kane out of Tottenham. That's a bottom of 10. That's a 10 to 12th squad. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. So I do think the league's a bit crap this year. And that being said, if Liverpool just get a few players in, and it's one of them years that Liverpool just keep, because Liverpool seem to have a season where everyone stays fit for a couple of years, then we have major injuries, then they stay fit again, major injuries, then they stay fit again. If Liverpool can keep the majority of their players fit, Luis Diaz has a whole season, Darwin's better next season, Gakpo's better next season, Virgil's had a rest and got back on the inhalers and he's better next season. Kanate's a year older, he's better, he's going to be better next season. Trent's going to be more advanced, maybe, he's going to be better. Alisson's Alisson. Do you see this Liverpool team just getting the right few players in, just being back again next year, or do you think there's more to it?
Only if we get players in, Joe. I don't. This whole rest and give them rest, and like if a player's legs are gone, they're gone, man. Like if my engine goes, I can leave the car on the driveway for weeks of rest. When I start up, it's still going to shudder, and then it's going to shut down on me eventually. I feel as though there are players in the team and in the squad that just need to be replaced or given real competition so they don't rest on their laurels. But that comes from Klopp's philosophy. Like Klopp has to, this attachment he's got to his players, he's got to have a little bit more of a Rafa Benitez streak in him, where it's like, look, I love you guys, but I've got to take a little step back now, and I've got to look at the future of Liverpool Football Club as opposed to bringing Milner on every game so Milner can break the appearance record. Like rather than Henderson's got to play because he's my captain and he's done all this for me in the past, or Robbo's got to play despite having 5 bad games in a row because Tsimikas is the new guy. That stuff's got to stop. Like because what it's done, and I'm starting to see it with Tsimikas. Tsimikas plays now, and it's like he don't care a lot of the time because he probably thinks to himself, "I'm playing today, but we all know I'm not playing the next game. I can turn out a 10 out of 10 performance today. I'm not playing the next game." It's going to start happening with Kelleher. It's going to start happening with one of the attackers potentially. But that's not a good harmony to having around the club. And you're going to have to look at someone like a Man City where they've got numerous players and have had numerous players over the years, but have managed to keep a lot of those players happy. And we're not doing that at the moment.
Yeah, it's strange because, you know, Klopp, he likes a squad. You know, I don't know if it's, you know, everyone talks about Klopp likes a small squad. I don't know if that's true. I also don't know if he likes it. I don't even know if he likes a big squad at the same time. Klopp has got favourites. There is no doubt about that. The proof's in the pudding. You don't need I honestly think Jordan Henderson is Klopp's number 1 midfielder. I've been saying this for time. You know, when's he ever dropped?
Yeah.
When's Hendo ever dropped? He's never dropped. The only time Hendo's ever really out of the team, he's got an injury. That is the only real time, or he's got a book tour, or whatever it is. He's not really out of the team. And I look at it and think, how long can Hendo be that starting midfielder for Liverpool? That can't. And I know people keep going on. I've heard a lot of this, and it does my nut in that people go, right, Henderson's going to take the Milner role next season. What do you mean going to take the Milner role?
He can't do the Milner role.
Oh, he's not versatile.
Thank you.
Hendo can't play right back. Jesus Christ. Hendo can't play left back. You know, Hendo's got one position. I don't even think Hendo can play the 6. I don't even know if he can play the 6 anymore.
I actually think that's the only position he can play now.
But then he doesn't read the grain. No, what he'll do in the 6 is keep the ball nice and tidy. You know, he's very, you know, Hendo will pass it sideways, pass it backwards all day. You know, keep it nice and tidy in that area. But does he read the game well enough?
No,
he does. He doesn't read the game as well as Fabinho does. Fabinho's an excellent reader of the game. The problem with Fabinho now, he can read the game excellent still, but his body can't catch up, and that's the problem with Fabinho right now. So I don't know if Fabinho just needs a rest, but then apparently he's 29. You know, I don't know. You know, this is one for Klopp. He sees him every day in training. Klopp's got to look at it and go, right, Fabinho, if your legs are gone, man, I need to destroy him in midfield because everything's about counter pressing. You know, that Fabinho against Barcelona when he got a yellow card in the first.
Oh, one of the best DM performances I've ever seen.
One of the best DM performances ever. That is gone. I don't think, even if he rests up, I don't think you'd ever see that Fabinho ever again.
Yeah, me neither.
And if we want to go back to winning things, we need that kind of DM, don't we?
Yeah, completely agree with that. And even when you say things like that, it just makes you think of what Fabinho was and what we could have been with a player like a Fabinho this season. But I think we need to move away and looking at players' ages, their biological ages, and look at the miles that they've run in their career pre and post Klopp.
Like you can have old 30-year-olds in boxing, can't
you? Yeah, well, bro, we can have old 25-year-olds in this squad.
Yeah. UFC. Look at MMA fighters.
Precisely.
They can be quite young, age-wise, but they've had a million fights and their body can't take it.
Exactly, and I think that's what's happening with some of these players like Flacco and even Robbo to an extent. They have played so many games and so many minutes because they've not been rotated. that despite their biological age, their footballing age, I think I saw something, a report earlier on this season, that despite Fabinho's biological age being 24, his footballing age is like 34, 35. It shows, bro.
It does show.
Because he's... Who's he been rotated with since he's been in the team since 2018?
Hendo.
No one. Hendo now, but Hendo only when he's injured.
Yeah, and that's it. If he ain't injured, apart from being dropped for Stefan earlier in the season when Stefan came into the team, he took in like there was a time where Klopp got angry at Fabinho at the touchline. I can't remember what game it is. You remember? And he was absolutely going nuts at Fabinho. And the next game, Stefan took his place, and we actually looked quite nice in midfield. And then Fabinho came back in a couple of games later. It's like Klopp went, "Oh, your punishment's over now. You can come back in."
I think because Stefan got injured as well. To be fair,
yeah, and then
that was a bad break for us.
Yeah, because he's been the highlight of this season in a way. I wonder what it'd be like right now if Stefan was fit.
I think we'd be in a top four race. I think we'd be in a top four race.
Would Trent be this inverted fullback if Stefan was fit?
No, I don't think he would.
That's the thing. So we've forgotten about Stefan away. We're talking about players next season. Stefan's got a big career at Liverpool. And do you reckon he's going to be part of the big squad next season going forward?
I hope so. If it was up to me, I'd sell Fabinho and Henderson, and I'd make Stefan Bajcetic my backup number 6.
Yeah, because he's a talented boy, man.
He's
got. The problem is we're very reactionary as a fan base sometimes, and when he has a bad game, we're like, "I told you he ain't good enough," and all that sort of stuff, and that happens quite a lot. But the kid's 18, you know, he's going to have bad games. He just is, you know. I think we sometimes compare players to like Pedri and Gavi because they're similar ages, which is sometimes I think Harvey Elliott gets that a lot. You know, he's similar age to Pedri and Gavi. Why is he not like that? And it's like, look, take all the 18-year-old professional footballers in the world and put them in one thing. How many of them are actually that good? You know, Pedri and Gavi, they're just a level above. But go around all the rest of the 18-year-olds around, you know, they're all much of a muchness. And I think we get too involved in looking at other teams sometimes. Like I used to be always looking at City and going, "Oh, I wish we had a team like City." And then I was like, "Nah, why would we want a team like City? You know, why would we want a team like City? We won a Premier League and a Champions League without players City have got." Personally, I just think we just need to go with players that play in our system. Basically. I think that's what we need to do. Klopp gets a system. I do believe, though, I will say this, Cal. I think Klopp's system is an amazing system when he gets the players he wants, though.
Yeah, agreed. I think Klopp's got the best system in world football when he's got the players and they're all fit and available. I think he's proven it.
Yeah, it just hasn't got longevity.
Exactly. But here's a killer. You see, if we had someone of Pep's mindset who will sell his son if it means getting the next best player, then it would work. But at the same time, you'd also need owners who have the money to refresh that as well. But if we had someone who was more ruthless with Klopp's system, I'd shudder to think how we'd be beaten.
No, exactly. I mean, look here. Look. Everyone's talking about this Arsenal team right now going against this Man City side, yeah? Look, if Arsenal don't win the league, they're trophyless.
Yeah.
They're trophyless. We won Charity Shield. I'm being childish. We won Charity Shield. So
I'm not being childish. We did win the Charity Shield.
I'm taking it. I'm taking the Charity Shield. Let's take it.
Yeah.
The trophy. If Mourinho counts it as a trophy, I'm going to count it as a trophy.
I do. I've always counted it as a trophy.
But because it's usually two massive sides competing for it.
Yeah.
But I look at like everyone's saying about Arsenal this season. Look, they could end up not winning anything. And I look at Liverpool when they go in against this Man City team. Look, Man City are probably the best team in world football apart from Real Madrid, in my opinion. And
I think they're better than Real Madrid.
Yeah,
I think they'll prove that as well.
I think City go win the treble personally. And
I think they'll win the double. I still think Arsenal win the league.
You reckon? I don't know. I think City I think City might smash them tomorrow.
I actually think Arsenal are going to get points in that game.
You reckon? Because I'm doing a double watch along for that tomorrow. I've got both screens on. I'm doing a double watch along for it. The Liverpool West Ham game because it's at the same time. I'm intrigued, and No, I sort of I don't want Man City to win the league because they're going to just catch up with everyone's honours. But
Yeah,
I want Arsenal to be humbled at the same time.
same. Man City feel like the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, and I don't know any City fans apart from Daps and a few others. And Big
Yeah,
and that.
yeah.
It's a lot quieter. And plus, we're London-based Liverpool fans, and they're all around us. So yeah,
Bro, Arsenal do my head in. Arsenal fans do my head in.
I don't want to hear from them, but in Klopp's system, when it worked at its best, when we're competing against this City team, we've got a 97 point. Who gets a 97 points to not win a title?
It's wild. The 92 last season as well.
But then we won a Champions League that year.
Yeah.
Last year, 92 points, but we had a domestic double. Now, this is the caliber of Klopp's system. When it's at its best, as you say, it is arguably the best system. Look, would Pep Guardiola won the Premier League or a Champions League with Wijnaldum, Fabinho and Henderson as his midfield?
Oh, Wijnaldum and Fabinho, yes. Don't know about Hendo.
You know what I mean? Would he have used Wijnaldum similar to the way Klopp used him?
Yeah, I think so. Because you see a little bit of how Gundogan is used when he plays in midfield, and it reminds me a bit of Wijnaldum.
And they're quality players. I was never the biggest Wijnaldum fan as a midfielder, but I get why he was. I
loved him.
You get why he was in the team because he kept everything ticking over. He won the ball back easily. He was press resistant. He was good at protecting the ball. We ain't got that no more, and that's what we're missing. So get a play like
think of it. In the whole time Wijnaldum was at Liverpool, barring his very first season, we bought 3 midfielders to try and oust him of the team. We bought Ox, who was meant to be Gini's replacement. Then we bought Naby, who was meant to be Gini's replacement. And then we bought Thiago, who was meant to be Gini's replacement. And Gini outlasted all of them until he was let go on a free. The guy was quality. His levels, man.
Thiago's the mad one. I've come up with something mad with Thiago. I love the guy, but I don't think Thiago suits our system.
I think we should have changed the system to cater to Thiago. Yeah,
he plays in a double pivot wherever he's been.
Yeah, and the thing is, we had a prime Fabinho and Thiago. Bro, the COVID season when we went to a double pivot with Thiago and Fabinho, that's the reason we got top 4. That's why we got top 4. And then the following season, I'm thinking, that's it. Klopp's done it now. He's unlocked the pivot. We went reverted back to type, and I'm just like, this guy doesn't learn, man.
Yeah, look, Thiago might be one of the biggest wastes of talent Liverpool have ever had.
Yeah, so far the biggest.
Because he's so good. He's the best player we've signed. I can remember us actually signing as a world-class player. Obviously, we've had players at our club like Salah's and that who've gone on to be world-class, but they weren't at Thiago's level when we bought him. When we got Thiago. And we got Thiago in that summer. I remember we just won the Premier League. We bought Jota, Thiago, and a backup left back. It wasn't
all we needed. You're right. All we needed was that centre back. I think we'd have retained the league.
It wasn't the worst summer in the world. And then,
but the summer before that and the summer after that were terrible summers.
And that is why we are now. And that is the reason why we are now. Because I've said this for a while now. Because Klopp's talking about directors of football and all that, and the search for a director of football continues. But then Klopp come out and said it is not my place to talk about this. But but then he was talking about investment and all that the other week. So I don't know what his place is. So either he's been told to be quiet about all this, or But look, we need a sporting director. There's no doubt about it. But for me, we need a sporting director who will have the nerve to go against Klopp, because I think that's the problem with Julian Ward. I don't think Julian Ward was strong enough as a person, maybe go up against Jurgen. Because I bet Jurgen is quite intimidating. I bet he's a quite intimidating fella. Look, he's got to have an ego about him. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has egos. Yeah. He's got to have an ego about him. And I don't know if Julian Ward could handle the Klopp situation. Michael Edwards obviously could, and there became trust there, and Klopp let him like, okay, you go and get them players, and we'll sort it and all that. Yeah. I've always said It's a mad one, but I've always said Liverpool should employ Ralph Rangnick as sporting director.
Oh no, I'm with you on that. I'm 100% with you on that.
Ralph Rangnick has got great talent and ID.
He's the guy. That's the guy.
Yeah. Forget about his managing at Man United and forget about his coaching and all that. His role is really as a sporting director. He knows young talent better than anyone.
That's the guy, bro.
He's got great talent ID, and I think it's someone Klopp will have so much respect for at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that could be an amazing partnership.
Bro, that is the guy. He is the guy that we should be going and getting now. He should be here already. He should be starting to do deals already.
And can you imagine? He'd take the job and he'd get the players that Man United refused. And
yeah,
I mean, look at what he told Man United, all the players that needed to leave that football team and get the players to come in. And they didn't listen to him.
Exactly.
And I think he'd be a great sporting director. But Klopp, I think Klopp just needs to be a manager now. I don't want Klopp involved in everything. Once you start becoming involved in everything, you start to lose sight of what you're meant to be doing as your main job. And
does he just want to do that though, Jay? That's the problem again. Is he content with just doing that now?
Well, this is why everyone says about Klopp is a bit like Arsene Wenger in a way, because Wenger is an amazing manager. Look what he done for Arsenal Football Club and English football in general.
Yeah,
and his talent ID was amazing. But then he got so much power at Arsenal that he basically run the football club. And at the end of the day, that's what Arsenal fans said what was the problem, because he took his eye off players. He became too loyal to too many players in the Arsenal team and kept them for too long, and that's what kept them behind. But he always got in the top four and saw that as a prize. And and Klopp looks like he's going down that path, and I don't want him to go down that path. I just want Klopp to be a manager. Let the sporting director buy the players. That's what they're employed to do. I don't know if Klopp's talent ID is the best. I'm not sure.
I'm not convinced at this point.
I've heard a lot of talk. He wanted Julian Brandt over Mo Salah, and Julian Brandt he had a big aspirations when he was younger as being this next big player. It just didn't quite work out for Julian Brandt. But, he wanted Timo Werner, and we all know about that. And the club were like, "No, here's Diogo Jota. We think he'll be better for your system and suit you better." And it was almost proved right. Although I think Timo Werner would work for Liverpool.
So do I. I hate to say, Timo Werner was doing at Chelsea what Nunez is doing at Liverpool.
Yeah. And look, I don't even think Nunez has done that badly. Man's played out of position all season.
Yeah.
And he's got 15 goals in all competitions. I don't know what, and he's not. We're not playing to his strengths. And I think Werner would easily do bits at Liverpool. I don't get why Chelsea let him go. I don't. Has Werner been any worse than Havertz at Chelsea? I don't know.
Oh, he's been. No, Havertz is living off that Champions League goal.
He's living off it. He's living off it, man. But it's a weird one over at Chelsea. I don't. Here's a question for you before we finish up, and everyone in the chat. Here's a big question for everyone in the chat right now. Who's the worst run club right now? Chelsea Football Club or Liverpool?
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Chelsea. It's got to be Chelsea.
But they spent 600 million. This is
my point. It's not the main thing. It's about structure.
Exactly.
The thing is, if you merge Liverpool and Chelsea together in terms of structure and spending power, you'd have the best backroom in the globe, without shadow of a doubt. Because you look at what we've done from a commercial aspect and a revenue aspect is second to none. Yeah. But we haven't spent on transfers. Even if you gave us half of what Chelsea has spent, we're nice. Like, here's the thing, right? People who are FSG in but not willing to listen to the other side have always turned around and gone, "Oh, you guys just want Mbappe's and want to spend 300 million every summer." No, we don't. We don't. We just want to be able to say, if a player is available who's absolutely top class and we have a chance of getting them because we're in a position where we're a desirable club, we should be in with a chance of getting that player. And right now we're not. So Chelsea right now are worse run, but that could change very quickly if they get structure in place and keep with the spending power that they've got. Whereas with us, I don't know where that spending power comes from unless we sell up.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Look, it don't. This is what's annoying. It don't actually take a lot of investment on the pitch or what we want. You know, if Thuram's available for 30 million, go and get him. You know, that's what we want as a Liverpool fan. We're not always asking for it. You know, you've got to be realistic. People like Mbappe and stuff like that.
It's never going to happen.
I'll go to certain clubs in world football. And it's going to be like your Real Madrids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Look at Man City. Man City are well run, yeah? Right.
Yeah.
There's
allegedly.
Alleged stuff happening in Man City right now, which is why I think, because I read something about Man City today, that Man City are going to start being more of a sell-to-buy club. Because they want... Because if you look at this season, they sold more than they bought. And they want to go down that structure because I think they know eyes are on them, and they want to take eyes off. So they're looking at selling players because apparently they're looking at Gavardol in the summer, ain't they?
Bloody hell, that's annoying.
But they're talking about letting people like Laporte and all that go first before they bring them in. And you know, I like a Gavardol. I don't rate him as high as a lot of people. I actually think Lovren was the better defender at the World Cup out of the two of them.
I disagree there.
And because
Lovren was good. Lovren was good though.
The reason I say that is I don't know if Gavardol could have been as good as he was at the World Cup without Lovren. And
that's a bold statement, Jay.
Also, go and look at Lovren's career, right? Lovren has been stellar everywhere he's been, club and country, apart from Liverpool. It's a fact. Go and look where Lovren's all the clubs he's played for. Look how good he was at Southampton when we bought him.
Yeah, he's brilliant at Southampton.
Go and look at all the clubs he's playing for and look at when he plays for Croatia. He's solid, man. It's just that we try to make him something. It's not. We try to play a high line with Lovren. That's just
bad. Lovren is brilliant at a low block / mid to low block. He's brilliant at that.
And I think that's all. I think Gavardol is going to be a tremendous defender. There's no doubt about that. Of course he is. But I think he's one of the defenders that always look better with a more of a leader defender with him. Look at Varane, and Varane was nowhere near as good a defender as what's his name, Sergio Ramos, in my opinion. Because Sergio Ramos could have any partner and still looks like Sergio Ramos.
Yeah.
Varane don't look great. I don't think Varane looks great now. I'm not.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think Varane looks great now, and you get certain players in them positions, and they will look better for it. But look, Gavardol's going to cost 100 mil, and Liverpool ain't got 100 mil to spend on a defender right now, unfortunately. So
they've got 100 mil to spend on anything, it seems.
We just have to move. We're going to spend 100 million on free players, but look, if we spend 100 million on free players, Cal, but they're free quality players that come into the team.
I'm not moaning.
I'm not moaning either.
I'm not moaning at all.
We spent 100 million last summer.
Yeah, we did.
But it was the wrong players. That's the issue. And that's the issue right now. Get the right players in and Liverpool will do bits next season. But, guys, we're going to leave it there. Thank you for everyone joining us today. Thank you for Cal for joining. I really appreciate it, man.
No, bro. Thanks for having me on. I just wish my camera and laptop were working so we could have done this as face-to-face as possible. But, bro, I'm a fan of the channel. You are honestly one of the hardest working YouTubers I know. Like, I'm always getting notifications. I'm like, Jamie's so dedicated. Brother, you inspire me with this stuff as well. So you keep doing your thing, man. You're brilliant, and long may this continue. Bro, you got my number, so you know if you want me back on, the pleasure's always mine, man.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Where did you see this news, Jamie? Oh, on the Bellingham stuff. So, I think Davo Kopp on Twitter wrote an article about it, and I think Christian Falk, the German Bayern Munich guy, he was talking about it as well. And Christian Falk has got a lot of credibility as well. So I actually believe there is some truth behind this Bellingham staying at Borussia Dortmund next season and getting a buy-on clause. I think that might happen because I think that might. But look, It's going to be 3 years ago. We're waiting for Jude. So
I was going to say, I'll be honest, getting a buyout clause, I think, is even more dangerous for us because
they said it's
we have to pay all the money up front.
Yeah, I think. I actually legitimately do think Liverpool did offer an £84 million transfer fee for Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, not all in one fee though.
No, it was going to be like £2 here, £3
here. Klarna.
Yeah, Klarna. Just keep a nice little red book when payments due and all that. But yeah, guys, on that note, we are out of here. Guys, make sure you all go and subscribe to Coppish if you're not already. Please go and subscribe. Then they're on the way to 30K in it now, Cal?
Yeah, almost there. Getting there.
Almost there. What have you got coming up this week anyway, Cal and Coppish?
So we've got a watch long tomorrow, West Ham game, Prem panel show Thursday, call-in show Friday, preview for the Spurs game Saturday, and then Sunday watch long. So we're busy all week.
Busy week on everyone's channels, guys. Same here.
Yeah.
I'm doing the same sort of stuff, guys. So yeah, it's going to be. I'm doing the double watch along tomorrow. I've got 2 screens on the go. Doing Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, West Ham. So it should be a fun night. I haven't got my time to do a prediction show tomorrow, guys. So I do apologise for that because I've got family stuff on. But I'll give my quick prediction. West Ham. I think we're going to win comfortably 3-0. There you go.
Oh, I've gone 2-1 to Liverpool.
Yeah, I think we'll win. I don't know why. I've got this comfortable win in my head, and I'm a balmy for saying it, but.
Well, I'm hoping we smash West Ham, but Declan Rice has a worldie of a game, and Klopp goes, he's played well against us. I want him.
Get Declan Rice in, but yeah, I hopefully we can beat West Ham because I think the Tottenham game. If we can't beat Tottenham at home, then we just cancel everything right now.
Yeah, facts.
And then the hardest game we've got left is Villa at home, who are apparently winning tonight as well. And no one's talking about Villa enough. And the
Emery, I said it. If Emery was given the time and resources that Arteta got, then Arsenal would have already been an established top 4 in Champions League team.
Emery's a quality coach. I don't know why in this country we look down at that man. He's a quality coach, and look what he's doing at Villa, man. Look what he's doing at Villa. So, all right, guys, big up to everyone. Thank you for joining. Don't forget the like button on the way in, on the way out, all that good stuff. Subscribe, share, all that nice stuff. On the way to 4K, guys. So, thank you very much for joining.
Big up yourself, Jamie.